I'm Margo Tassi, and I curated this show, Landscape Divergent Views.
On March 16th, 2025, I drove up to Wallingford's Community Arts Center to see this terrific show that Margo has put together. There's a catalog with a powerful essay by Elaine Crivelli, to whom Margo is deeply indebted. There are 10 artists, 3 of whom could not make the opening. Margo spoke about all 10, and I got to chat with the 7 who did make an appearance.
Anne Minich.
Anne Minich's paintings evoke stories of the self. Minich carves into her birch ply surfaces with No. 1 X-Acto blades and small X-Acto chisels to add words and found objects. In this show, all of her pieces contain boats, the perfect vehicle for stories of death, triumph, and freedom.
I couldn't be more delighted to be in this show. I feel like I'm in very good company, and Margo has gone around the bend to make sure that it looks beautiful.
What do you have here, Anne?
It's part of my boat series, and they rely very heavily on found material. The Bloody Ocean is a COVID piece. The boats in them are driftwood from Willard Beach, Maine. And Insane Bride, Relieved of Her Demons, refers to Marcel Duchamp's work, his idea of bride, and the spread leg image that's behind the peepholes in the Philadelphia Museum.
Hi, I'm Liz Osborne, and I spent quite a bit of time out in New Mexico, off and on over the years. And this is from the Catalina Mountains. You had to hike around to find good spots to paint, but it was beautiful and didn't run into any snakes. I used to go up a lot to Manchester by the sea and do watercolors and smaller studies and then go back to the studio. And this is one of them, from just looking at the water from a different angle, and the flowers I just added. I like the painting. It's nice that I can see it here and held up.
Liz Osborne's 2 paintings display her mastery of paint. The flow of her paint suggests the sensations we have when viewing large bodies of water. We feel the freedom of motion of the sea.
Your watercolors, the paint is transparent, but your oil paintings, there's such a wonderful variety of textures and surfaces. Yeah. Is that an important aspect to you?
Yes, it really is, because you're right, the watercolors are transparent and fluid, and I was making an effort in the oil to get more texture, and I think I did.
I think you did too. Thanks, Liz.
Anne Krinsky's video, Boiling Seas, Acid Seas, is part of her ongoing project to examine the effect of climate change on wetlands. By manipulating her on-site footage, the artist is able to make a visual statement that is descriptive rather than prescriptive. Her riveting images force us to focus on an issue that affects us all.
Good afternoon, I'm John Formicola, and I work digitally.
John Formicola challenges us to understand what his abstracted images of nature mean in an endangered world. Threat lurks beneath the surface of these digital images as they draw us in with the play of their color and shape, sublimated on aluminum.
Which is an infusion of a gas of inks into the aluminum surface. The titles allude to a message. Deforest is literally that. All the trees have been cut and sliced in half. And the one that's called stump is a single stump that's decayed amongst these beautiful red-orange, whether they are flowers or the edges of already cut trees. The message is there about what's happening. And in the stone graces, the elements there are three figures. We are part of the earth, part of the stones eventually. Monolith is a statement about hope. I would like to say transcendental, so that you can contemplate it for a long while.
Diane Burko's photographs take us to remote places where we can see the startling beauty of fragile ecosystems. These 6 photos are only a small part of Burko's longtime advocacy for climate justice, but they tell an important part of that story. Richard Estelle's paintings ask us to identify with the life cycles of the trees and vegetation in the woods. The fallen trees, mottled surfaces, and new growth seem to suggest that we are part of nature, and nature is part of us.
Hi, I'm Richard Estelle. These are really over the last 15 years or so, and they're all based on life, but they're very manipulated. And I think of them, as I said in the catalog, more like interactions between living things and not really that related to landscape or, oddly enough, the natural world. To me, they're very internalized, cryptic.
Some of them to me seem almost like they're about aging and death.
You mean things that are rotting?
Yes.
Or decaying? Yeah, because that's as big of a part of nature as the first part, isn't it? And if you go to the woods, every day you'll see something new that's either growing or decaying. You'll see things growing in the paintings too, like those 2 sycamore trees. Those are nice, healthy trees. Oh, I love the sycamores. The condition when one is wet and one is dry is something that always fascinated me, how different the thing looks from one day to the next. And that's the same with all the paintings, really. You can go the next day and look at something and it looks utterly different than the day that you saw it before.
Andrea Packard presents 2 fabric collages that portray the interior of the woods. In both pieces, the fabric with its conflicting patterns brings to mind the intensity and the intricacy of nature's details.
Personally, I found Andrea's pieces to be incredibly beautiful. And I love her creative use of materials, which includes not only fabric, but wood.
Hi, I'm Jack Ramsdale.
Jack Ramsdale's photographs of old and abandoned structures confront us with the knowledge of the temporary nature of things. We think of the lives of people we didn't know, who led lives as vital as our own. The images are bittersweet memorials.
Jack, you're known for taking photos of artists' paintings and such, but you also are a fine art photographer, is that right?
Yes, that is right.
The pieces in this show are of aging architecture falling apart. Where are these places?
This particular group of work I found mostly in Delmarva Peninsula and down in North Carolina. I just was always amazed that people would move out of their home. Trees grew up around it, but then it's still like a functioning farm. I just wonder, who are the people that moved out and where'd they go? It's sort of a living history on the landscape.
Unlike me, you look like you're fairly young, but does aging have anything to do with this subject matter?
Thank you for that. I was doing images like this 50 years ago. So when I was young, I was photographing old houses. It's a long interest.
Tish Ingersoll translates her experience of a rocky coast in Ireland to powerful color studies of rocks and ocean. The heightened color pulls us in, and her rocks become our solid window through which we observe the moving sea.
Hi, I'm Tish Ingersoll.
These are really, really beautiful. Are they all acrylic?
They're all acrylic, yeah.
And are they based on real places?
They are based on two different places. The coast of Ireland from the Ballinglen Arts Foundation residencies that I've done, and the others are from Maine.
Which of the two places do you prefer?
Oh, I love them both. But I know Maine better because I've been going there all my life.
When did you become more abstract in your handling of the landscape?
Probably 20 years ago. These paintings are from about the last 5 years. I don't know where I'm going with it, but it's always changing.
Celia Reisman has learned how to take real places and make them seem like imagined ones. The components of her paintings, houses, trees, and walkways, add up to something more when they are transformed by color into a place that is felt as well as seen.
Hi, I'm Celia Reisman. The work in the show is all based on suburban landscapes that are near my home, and I invent and try and make the work even more mysterious and almost magical, if possible, and that's my goal.
Those purple flowers.
They're called lupin. I capture the verticality of the plant and at the same time the color, but I'm not trying to be realistic in any sense so that they actually depict the flower.
You're taking liberties with some of the colors. For instance, I've never seen a sky quite that yellow.
No, I like to try and figure out how to make skies that aren't blue so that I can impose a different color sensibility onto the painting and create a color world rather than trying to be realistic in any sense. I guess the idea that you can move away from realism and impose whatever you like emotionally and visually opens the doors.
Well, the doors that you have opened are to a lovely world.
Thank you, John. Thanks.
And it was nice to see Mark.
As always, right? You like him.
Yes, I do like him. And another person I like is the curator of the show, Margo Tassi. Margo is an excellent artist. I asked her if she was going to include herself in her show. No, she said, that wouldn't be right. Darn it, I replied. But then she added, I did hang 2 paintings outside of the gallery. Landscape, Divergent Views, curated by Margo Tassi, will be on display through April 25th, 2025.